This car existed for one reason, to be the greatest driver's car ever built, and it still might be. This is the Hot Wheels McLaren F1. First off, I've got to say this is one of my favorite all-time cars. My son, his middle name is McLaren after this car. I actually wanted that to be his first name, but my wife wasn't going for that. She was afraid he'd be called Mac his whole life, and she didn't want that. So anyway, so his middle name is McLaren. So this car has a lot of meaning to me. I've always thought it was a pretty cool car. But let's dive in now and see what the real story is behind this car. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, McLaren was dominating Formula One under the leadership of Ron Dennis, and with legends like Ayrton Senna behind the wheel. They were on top of the racing world. But one man had a wild idea. That man was Gordon Murray. Murray wasn't interested in building just another fast car. He wanted to build the ultimate road car. Not the fastest for marketing, not the flashiest for attention, the best. He envisioned something incredibly lightweight, perfectly balanced, naturally aspirated, pure, and most importantly, built around the driver. So in 1992, the world met the McLaren F1. The first thing people noticed was the seating. Instead of two seats side by side like every other car on Earth, the McLaren F1 placed the driver in the center, slightly forward, with two passenger seats set slightly behind on each side. It was inspired by Formula One race cars. The driver had perfect symmetry, perfect visibility, perfect balance. But here's the thing most people don't realize. Getting into that center seat is not easy. You climb over a wide carbon fiber sill, you slide down into a very tight cockpit, then your passengers climb in behind you at slight angles. It's dramatic, it's awkward, it's completely unique. And that's exactly the point. The doors are dihedral, often mistaken for butterfly or gull wing, but they swing upward and outward in a dramatic motion. When they lift, it feels ceremonial. This isn't transportation, it's an event. Gordon Murray had a simple mission: no turbochargers, no driver aids, no compromise. The lightest, most responsive supercar ever built. At the time, Ferrari had the F40, Lamborghini had the Diablo, but Murray wanted something purer. He wanted a car that would never need to be updated. McLaren didn't build the engine, they went to BMW Motorsport. The result was a 6.1-liter naturally aspirated V12 known as the S70-2. It was hand-built. It produced 618 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque, and 8,000 RPM redline. And it weighed just, the engine weighs just 586 pounds. I thought they were saying the car weighed that. No turbochargers, no superchargers, just throttle response so sharp it felt electric, decades before EVs. Here's one of the coolest facts. The engine bay is lined with real gold foil. Gold is an excellent heat reflector. McLaren used it to manage heat in the tight engine compartment. This wasn't luxury flexing, it was engineering. When tested in 1998, it went 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, quarter mile in 11.1 seconds, top speed of 240.1 miles per hour. It became the fastest production car in the world, and here's the wild part. It did that without forced induction. That record stood for years. From 1992 to 1998, 106 total F1s were built, 64 road cars. The rest were LM, GTR, and special variants. Original MSRP was around $815,000 in the 1990s. Today, clean examples have sold for over $20 million, some even higher depending on history and mileage. And the amazing thing is these cars, I've seen when people have crashed them. I remember Mr. Bean crashed his at least once, maybe twice, and it was pretty badly wrecked. But as long as they rebuild it right, it really doesn't seem to affect the value of the car. I think he sold his for over $15 million or something like that. Even though it wasn't designed primarily as a race car, the F1 GTR won the 1995 24 Hour of Le Mans outright. Let that sink in, a road car platform winning Le Mans. That cemented its legend forever. The McLaren F1 was the first production car to use full carbon fiber monocoque chassis, and today that's normal in hypercars. Back then it was revolutionary. It weighed just 2,509 pounds, and that's lighter than many modern sports cars by over 1,000 pounds. So let's take a quick look at a few pictures I came up with for these cars just to see some of the unique features about them. All right, here's a picture of one with the doors up. They just look so cool. Those doors are just awesome. I love that little scoop on the roof too for the air intake there for the engine. Another picture with the doors up. Here's a picture of the interior so you can see how the driver sits right in the center. Crazy hard to get into. I've seen video of people online climbing in and out, and it's a very awkward thing, that's for sure. Yep. And there's another of the cockpit, just the driver's position. There's another showing the side seats. Very interesting. Probably not too hard for them to get in and out. Still a little bit awkward. At least the door openings are fairly wide. And there's looking at the steering wheel. And there's the two of the variations, just a side profile showing the door opening and how much space you get there with that. The F1 had no traction control, no stability control, no screens, no hybrid system, a V12, a manual gearbox, and balance. In many ways, it represents the peak of analog supercars. And that's why collectors fight for them, not just because they're rare, because they'll never make one like this again. And that's why cars like this Hot Wheels McLaren F1 deserve to be seen.